for Calgary Elbow.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Nearly 2 years after Serenity's death, major problems persist in Alberta's child welfare system. These are not new problems. Report after report after report have identified the issues, and a committee chaired by Tim Richter was established to implement past recommendations. But this work has been ignored by the minister. It's clear we don't need another panel. We need action. To the Minister of Human Services, we all know what's wrong. We all know the answers. How can you justify yet another repetitive panel?
Honourable Minister of Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The story of Serenity and other children are tragic and can't help but make you recommit to take action. And that is why we are taking action. As we move forward with the committee, we will look at the work that has been done previously, and in the short term for spring session, we will bring in a process that will look over the death review, which was ignored previously by the previous government. We will bring that legislation next spring. Thank you.
First supplemental.
This is on you, Mr. Minister, and I expect you to have implemented the damn changes. That's what's needed here, Mr. Speaker. Some of the recommendations made by the Implementation Committee include benchmarking outcomes for children in care, creating a joint child death review panel, conducting and releasing internal reports into all child deaths. These are just a few of the many clear, actionable recommendations you have had on your desk for more than 18 months. Again, to the Ministry of Human Services, you've been in charge for a year and a half. Why haven't you implemented a single one of Tim Richter's recommendations?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you.
I want to remind all of the House, you've been very good at it, but again, particularly on sensitive topics like this, please direct your comments through the chair. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The death of Serenity represents the systemic issues that have been there for decades. And there is no simple solution. There is legacy of residential school, there is legacy of 60s school, there is legacy of laying off social workers, there is legacy of fractured system.
Point of order is noted. Minister, your comments through the chair. Are you finished your comments? Second supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, this minister is responsible for two catastrophic failures. First, his inaction means that whoever murdered Serenity is walking free today. And second, we have no assurance that other Serenities aren't at risk in the system right now. I do lay blame, Mr. Speaker, and I have no faith in this minister. The Richter report says, quote, at the end of the day, no amount of external review, oversight, policy or process can replace leadership. To the Premier, will you immediately replace this minister with someone willing and able to fix the system?
Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I have said before, not all recommendations are created equal. There were a number of elements of that previous report which, quite frankly, will not help us move forward in terms of dealing with the problems that were reflected in the case of Serenity. For instance, the idea of having the OCME investigate every death of every child in Alberta will result in the critical issues that impact children in care being lost. It would result in us failing to make the kinds of focus changes that we need to move on. So that is why we are reviewing this, and we will move forward.